Hey guys, okay, when you guys have a look at the design that I created this morning, sometimes when we design a poster based on the organic kind of shapes, they don't have to be too accurate, but this is more natural when it comes to develop those kind of drawings. Okay, um, all right, to yin. Okay, the common kind of problems that most people have, they trace. Okay, they just copy and trace. They don't come up with a solid kind of understanding when it comes to develop those research. Okay, before you study basically the character, you have to design the characters. You need to be able to study basically the formations of stone. Stone of rocks. Okay, can you study first of it how basically the formation is going to be in order for you to execute the design into your own characters. This is basically some visual kind of studies that you need to understand this before you're going to develop basically your own kind of character style. You not analyze basically this kind of informations before basically you're going to design them back. Okay? The language that I produce is very natural. And then the anatomies of those kind of proportions that I actually create from there were based on my study structures, which is came from your references. But I did not attempt to trace. I'm using the references developed into multiple kind of designs before I'm going to finalize them. Okay, that's basically where you can train your imaginations. You cannot actually just do it once, you can get it right. And of course, okay, we don't go through the model ship kind of explorations, okay, from this exercise or these assignments. So you need to basically to improve this like again. You drawing skills and methods to develop those kind of structures properly. Okay, you have been going through before. Okay, in my sessions, so you have to apply that again into your works. That's the thing. That's basically for the people to trace in the first place. What you've done basically, okay, when you actually copy trace from other people artworks, especially on your second assignments that you did for last semesters, were not going to bring any value for your understanding. You have to go back to my foundation session, which is I've done an observation kind of exercise, done basically the controlling on the strokes using the charcoal itself. You have to go through with that kind of particular kind of exercise back again. Okay, to improve basically move on your foundation drawings. It's all about the foundation drawings over here. That's why you cannot actually design the characters properly, because you're not be able to use your imaginations to combine with the relationship between your subject matters that you chose. You just look at the finished products or the designs and not actually be able to analyze basically how you're going to come up with all this kind of design that based on the element and principles. Okay, that we guys been looking on, like line shape, textures, color, form, right, silhouette shapes, negative and positive space. You're not basically practice all those kind of lessons and bring it over back again to these assignments. That's the reason why you can actually do it right. I'm going to show you guys a lot of how it works. Either you have to follow exactly, and then you have to practice yourself. Okay, you cannot assume working with one simple kind of what we call the exercise like this. Okay, see, you not be able to draw the proportions correctly. That's the thing. So in order to learn the proportion correctly, we need to go through also with the preliminary chemistry. Okay, you have to search all these information like this. You have to draw from scratch. Okay, you have to break down basically every single muscles that I have in order for you to form basically back again those particular kind of design. Like I said, everything is by design. But when you treat basically your drawing like the tracings, you won't be able to learn anything from there. Because I break down the shapes over here. Okay? Into multiple kind of structures. Basic shapes. Before I turn over into these imaginative kind of formations based on the rocks, forms of rocks. If I want to design the rocks, okay, what type of rocks that I'm going to design? This is one of the shapes of it, the shapes of the rocks. Okay? This is the shapes of the rocks that I actually can design, that I can draw basically back again, using my multiple kind of methods of drawings. Okay. I bet I need to design all these simple rocks or so, okay, or stone. You will struggle because your brain will not be able to analyze all these elements together, even though you have learned from multiple subjects that related to those design and drawings to think, and you're not practicing yourself. You're not enjoying basically the process. You just do it because you've been forced to. You're not basically have the heart to work on it. You can see basically how some of your friends working on it. They really study basically the subject there, right? But you are not. Most of you guys were not. Right? You're just lazy enough to work, take for granted all those kind of process that you should basically do to redevelop from there. That's the thing. And this is the formations of rocks, the shapes of it. Okay, multiple design. Design number 1, 2, 3, 4. I can actually write design anything that I want, infinitely the right. Because I really know and also enjoy basically the process of working. You are not. That's why you cannot actually make it right. You have to use your brain to think, as I told you guys. And you have to repeating basically the process and try to solve the problem during the process. You have to think to solve it independently that works. You have to use your brain and your right brain to work. And of course, okay, you combine with the logics at the same time. Okay. You want to design a mushroom, also you need references, but when you imagine, you cannot do it right. Okay, I can design a mushroom without looking at the references, but you will not be able to work on it. I can design multiple kind of mushrooms from here. But how do I do? Can you do it the same thing? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Like a simple object using imaginative kind of information. We don't have to wait to draw all these kind of creatures to design basically the element. Draw rocks, mushrooms, even the grasses, using imaginative kind of drawings. You'll be able to do that. Why? Because you're not actually using basically your right brain properly. That's the reason why. You're not practicing yourself that way. The information that you get all the time you take for granted. You not keep into your brain. That's the reason why. You know, actually practice the process and train yourself and think as a design student. You're thinking as a layman, as a normal people that way. You know, to train basically your observations. When you look at things, you're going to watch carefully and recall them back in your sketchbooks. And I bet most of you guys doesn't have any sketchbooks that you will record all the visuals information there. You keep on working with your computers, your tab, but you not actually use the full potential of those devices and fully utilize them. That's the reason why we cannot come up with this idea. I know it's not that easy, right? That's the reason why I give this kind of assignments. But the good thing is, all the assignments that I made for you guys, I did basically all the demonstrations. Look easy for you guys to see. It's not that easy for you guys to execute. Just like you watch anime all the times or playing games. It's really enjoyable to become a user. To become a user and play those games, watch those anime. But once basically you in that positions that you have to create one, it's not going to be enjoyable as what you thought when you play this game as a user. But in order for you guys to work back again, you have to love the process. You have to enjoy basically what you do, because no one basically pull the triggers on your head. You need to basically to work because you love design, not because of the assignments there. If you treat basically that you're enforced doing these assignments, you won't be able to execute properly. But if you enjoy creating something for yourself, especially for the designer, right, the process that you're looking on, right, you will be able to get basically the ideations, how to analyze and solve the problems. Okay, so that's the reason why. This is basically some demonstrations, right? Maybe one of the few last demonstrations that I will give you guys an example of how it works. That's what I say. Learn to paint digitally is not that quite hard. Okay, there's no point basically you can paint in realistically, but the proportion is out there, right? You cannot handling basically the drawings there. One of the basic foundation of working with the design tools, not painting, right? So you won't be able to solve the most easiest problem, but the most important is kind of what we call that process in design. You cannot actually come up with a good ideas when you present it well. Okay, you can so basically you can actually discuss with your friends, among your friends, how it works. Some of your friends will actually did good about it, right? You really nail basically that the what we call that the ideations. You can learn from your friends instead of me all the same time, because I already did a lot of demonstrations that to show you guys how it works. What make me basically working quite easy for you guys to watch now, because all this kind of experience, all this kind of hardness that we actually didn't go through before. And at the same time, I'm enjoying creating those kind of videos. That's the difference between you and me. Right? But of course, okay, 2 semesters is not enough if you're not basically push yourself beyond your limitation that you have right now. That's the thing. So you have to push. Otherwise, you will stick and stay the same kind of what we call that skills that you have. Okay, for the past maybe 1 year and a half. So you have to worry now. Not because of the marks, because why you cannot get it right. If you ask yourself like again, because you have basically my live sessions based on this, all the assignments. You have basically all the access that I give you guys. My demonstrations, my channels, they're right here. And of course, okay, you actually can search also for more than on there. If you just limit yourself on your searching for the knowledge, you will not get what you want. and you will struggle a lot. Okay, this is a part of it. Okay? What else that we can actually study from here? I know basically some of you guys who actually work with this kind of design, when you draw in the trees, you're not actually using basically the capacity of the drawing methods. Okay, drawing methods to study all the structures. You're not doing that. Okay, that's the thing. So you have basically to push yourself. You should be worried. You should be feel more anxiety from it. Because why? Because you're not able to move your hands correctly when it comes to drawings. Even though we actually have shown you guys all the skills that require, all the strokes or the style that require directed for you guys to develop them, you're not able to analyze them. You have to ask, you have to push, and the worst thing, you have to cry for it. Right? Okay, but you have to think one thing: you're not basically disabled kind of person. But why basically you cannot do it right? This is not basically a business plan. This is not basically a basic business structures plan. Right? This is not the cost how to make money. Okay, with you what you do. This is the cost of the foundations drawing, which is every design student should know and should basically understand how it works by the end of the sessions. If you're not able to do that, we have to ask back again. What's wrong with your kind of, did you actually occupy your time to develop the process properly? If you're not occupying your time, you're not actually right. Use whatever it takes to enjoy the process of working, to feel great about it, to create something there. No one basically can actually change you. This is basically one of the things. I don't know how much time that you spend. I spend almost 24/7 back in the days to practice myself. Okay, so muscle drawings. See, all this kind of informations will basically help you guys. Should basically help us understand more. Even though we are not studying medical, okay, we are not actually studying as a doctor's now, okay, but as a design student, you need to understand all these basic structures that you use, how to break down all those kind of drawings, and how to draw properly, how to control the basic structures and strokes. Okay, these are basically the common. I saw basically some of the students draw apps like a grid, like a band there, routine. See how to move the strokes there, right? How to shape them up. All these kind of things you need to learn basically independently by yourself. Once again, you have to. It's not basically rocket science there, right? We don't ask you guys to do some formulas of mathematical what we call the equations that you need to build a vocabulary. You just have to practice our hands. That's all. In the correct way. How to work on that. All informations were in basically this video. And I also provide one of it. I'm actually one of those people actually provide for you guys. But you not actually make a full kind of what we call it, you know, utilize basically all the potential that we have been given to you guys over here. All those things do not basically work. Right? If you actually lucky enough, for example, it takes basically at least 6 months to 1 year. Okay? And some of you guys who actually can do it well, one of the reasons because you have to ask them, why? You know, if I can actually make some assumption from there, even though I can, you have to ask them why. I think one of the things that you guys maybe don't have, but I have. Okay, but I have. Right, this one. Sketchbooks. Right, sketchbooks. So if you who came to see me there. I have all these dashboards with me. And this is basically my kind of latest one. And I'm using pen. And I'm using pencils and paper. Okay. Basic foundations kind of drawings. I'm still looking, still drawing. You see? Okay. I'm still having it. Yes. I'm still studying it. I'm just enjoying studying it. Even with this one. Okay. Using basically ball pen like this to work on it. So do you do that the same thing? I don't think so. Even though I work with digitals, but I still have my sketch everything. And I draw every single thing that I found. Quite interesting. So let's ask yourself again. Why I cannot make it work? I think this one. Okay, study back in all the control line drawings. Digital kind of tools, or the digital tools is only a part of those tools that you have to use. As I told you guys before, okay, we combine all the traditional kind of methods, all the traditional kind of way of working from traditional to digital media. Okay? To digital media. So just consider yourself, okay, lucky enough to see all this kind of stuff that I get underneath. Ridiculous today. Where's my latest drawing? Okay, to some of my latest one, right? Okay, using ball pen only. Okay, this is this morning that they're doing basically some of the sessions. So think about it. Back again, guys. Okay, this is basically some exercise. For me, I treat those assignments just like the progressions kind of works, which is you can basically, if you treat basically like an exam, there, right? You force yourself into doing so that you won't be able to break down basically all the structures from your imagination is there. Okay, so the best way for you guys to work is to open up your mind back again. You have to think positively directly. You have to force to think positively directly. That's why in my sessions normally I listen to the music, the right kind of music for me to ease my mind. I'm meditate directly. That's basically how actually it works for me. All right. So you don't have to do some things negative directly in order for you to play with your imaginations. And of course, okay, maybe some for some reasons that's going to have a challenging for our brain, okay, to think beyond what we saw, okay. But for me right now, informations you have everything is in front of you. So you should basically to use back again properly. It works. This is basically, I think, the first challenge you might going to have. I think last semester we're doing paintings, right? And group projects, paintings. How basically you execute them, how you combine all those kind of pictures together. That's basically one of the trainings. But you don't actually apply back again, okay? In the process of thinking through this exercise, even though basically at this stage, one of those challenging that I find is because you have to use a cross-culture, kind of what we call that, research that based on these titles. All right, because I want you guys to be more really is about to develop the content, okay? Because you're not actually just doing the content that based on the common things that you find that you actually have known before only. Okay, this is basically also some common thing for general kind of peoples outside there, but not for you guys. Okay? You're not, some of you guys will not be exposed with all these kind of materials or titles directly or informations. So from now on, okay, try to find more informations, not just for the sake of the assignments directly, because you can basically make a new kind of what we call that explorations that based on these titles for your future assignments. Okay, there's a lot of Japanese kind of what we call that content. They're branding back again their cultures, but for us Malaysian, we're not doing that progressively. It's up to you guys. It's interactions tools on it. How you can combine all these kind of multiple cultures kind of elements into your works. Not only Malay, not only Chinese, but you can mix them up all together. Okay? Look like a Star Wars, for example, there. They mixed up all the cultures together. Design inspiration, okay? Cross cultures, the guys. You see the information is with him, right? Cross cultures, the guys. They mix them up. So this basically maybe his their sketches, not a mood board. You guys can see, okay, some cross-culture kind of elements. So if you want to become a character designer, this is a process of how you develop those ideas. This is one of it. You have to watch this one. That's why I say, okay, for some of you guys who don't even watch movies, you have to watch movies, okay, the right kind of movies. Okay, then you can open up more in your mind. You're not basically just being close into what you feel is quite comfortable for you only. You try to break away, break out from your kind of comfort zone. If you really, really wanted to explore basically your kind of expand basically your imaginations. That's how actually it goes. Some sketches there. Not only one, two sketches there. A lot of sketches that you guys can work from there. Okay. So Star Wars also is one of the good examples. If you want to do some modifications to modernize, to combine the ideation of this costume design there, right? That's the thing. All right, guys. So hopefully you guys can learn something back again until the end of the week 7, right, about your assignments. Okay. Same goes to the previous kind of assignments. You're lucky enough, basically you have only 7 weeks. If you can have 14 weeks, I will push a bit more further than this one, right? So make a full use of all the informations that I actually provide for you guys there. And remember that, okay? You're going to need all these kind of informations back again later on in the futures. Either you're going to see me or not, there, right? Okay? Each one of us, we actually thought you guys will think, will think, and will basically communicate in the same language. You cannot run away from there. Okay? The only difference, whether basically the person in charge will really care about your kind of development, or they will give you whatever that you want as long as you get faster, okay? But they will not give more value for your knowledge there. You have basically a 50-50 chances there, okay, whether you pass or not. You're not basically add more values from there.
Okay, make sure you add value on your educations in your mind. All right. So
How many people actually came over here today? All you guys were here? Okay, for those who actually been asking, okay, last week, so I asking you guys, I told you guys to make a major changes on your assignments, make sure you do it right. Okay, because I'm taking serious, okay, these semesters, especially for my groups. Okay, to see basically your improvements from there, right? If you're not actually willing to change, not for the sake of me, but for your design kind of developments, okay, your senses, directly your skills, you know basically what you're going to get there, right? Okay, to complete assignments without any values that you learn from the sessions will not be able to you to move forward from there. Okay, I can actually write a long report from there, okay, and show all your samples that are quite basically okay, in order for you to get the results there. I will basically I can do that. One of the reason why, because don't basically humiliate yourself, don't sabotage your works. Okay, that's the thing, because you can do better than what you've been working on, okay, for the past 6 weeks. All right. And if you guys were not in my sessions previously, maybe I can actually do some exceptions from there. But right now, I've been teaching you guys the right since last semesters. All the knowledge basically I can give you guys basically is good enough for you guys to move on to the next level. Just like playing games. So you're now is a level one there, right? So let's see whether you can actually level up into level two. Okay, right. So most of you guys are here, I assume. Right. Only two leave. Is it? No. Only Wang Yi and also Tiffany. So the rest of you guys, I assume we're here. Okay, except Wang Yi and also Tiffany. Okay. So I'm not looking for perfections all the time. Okay, but the right methods in order for you guys to develop basically your kind of drawing. That's big. Okay. Improve your foundations kind of what we call that sketch first before you're going to paint it up. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, guys. I see you guys around. Work on it. All the best and good luck there.